This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, a drive-through COVID-19 testing clinic opens in Dunedin today as the second wave of coronavirus spreads. The Otago Chamber of Commerce is helping southern businesses who are still hurting from COVID-19 earlier in the year. And work continues on a multi-million-dollar cycleway, taking it through the Manuka Gorge to Waihola. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. As we go to air tonight, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is holding a press conference on what actions the government will now take as a cluster of new COVID-19 infections in Auckland increases. Director General of Health Ashley Bloomfield announced today there are 12 new confirmed cases of COVID in the community and one probable case. All but one are linked to a member of the South Auckland family, which first tested positive this week, while the origins of one case are still being investigated. Earlier today, Cabinet met to decide if the Level 3 lockdown in Auckland should be extended and if it should be expanded to the rest of the country. We will bring you more details about the Prime Minister's announcement later in the bulletin. A drive-through COVID-19 testing facility has been opened in Dunedin in response to increased demand. But authorities are asking people to call 0800 virus 19 before getting a test.
This drive-through COVID-19 testing clinic in Dunedin is temporarily set up at a warehouse in Parry Street West, located near the Forsyth Bar Stadium.
So people are worried and people want testing, and so that's what we're trying to accommodate, just getting people them tests as soon as possible.
Well South says the additional capacity will improve access for people to get testing done quickly. Symptomatic people should first call 0800 847 8719 to be referred to either their GP or this testing centre.
Once you're here, that speeds up the whole process once you're inside, so doing that 0800 virus 19 is crucial. Don't just turn up, don't just walk in, we really need you to phone that number first.
The facility will be open on Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m, subject to demand, and anyone with symptoms is advised to seek testing. In Dunedin, the South Today.
With much of the nation at COVID alert level 2 and Auckland at level 3, the Otago Chamber of Commerce says those in business are again struggling. Chamber CEO Dougal McGowan says they've been helping businesses get ready for a worst case scenario.
Are closed signs set to reappear with the resurgence of COVID-19 in the community? As a second wave of the virus spreads through Auckland, the uncertainty about what comes next is already hurting businesses in the south.
This might be the point that breaks the camel's back as far as a business sustainability. People might lose more jobs, more liquidations. These are some of the unknowns that we don't know about. And of course going back into that lockdown phase would be pretty tough for many people, and we're still seeing some of the downside of that.
Otago Chamber of Commerce Chief Executive Dougal McGowan says while businesses have been here before and know what they're potentially facing, he's concerned for the mental health of those in the business sector. McGowan believes employers need to be having frank conversations with their staff, so everyone is prepared for what comes next.
Look, we don't know the full extent of it yet, and we don't know how widespread it is throughout New Zealand. What we've seen this time though is a regional approach to that lockdown system.
McGowan says the government's initial response with the regional lockdown shows a new approach to tackling the virus, but says there are so many variables waiting on the latest government announcements.
Of course, they've been here before, they know what the rules are. Some of those still need clarifying from last time, we know that, but we've got a fairly good idea what it looks like. Equally for office buildings, we're saying if it does go to level 3, get your people prepared, have those conversations early, so that if and when we have to move, then we're able to do so, but maintain that productivity.
He says many in the business world are still emotionally recovering from the first wave of COVID-19. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A petition signed by 1,700 people looks to have saved Wanaka's lakefront Millennium Walkway tiles. The pathway was under threat from proposed redevelopment of the Roys Bay lakefront.
This pathway along the picturesque Wanaka lakefront is possibly more appreciated by the public than the Queenstown Lakes District Council realised. Stretching more than half a kilometre with 2,000 tiles, several marking important dates in the world, New Zealand and Wanaka history, the pathway seemed under threat from being discarded by the council. However, a petition signed by more than 1,700 people seems to have safeguarded the path from a planned redevelopment of Roys Bay lakefront. The path had not been upgraded, with 17 broken tiles having to be replaced. The Queenstown Lakes District Council has put out 2 options for public comment, with concept plans to be on display at the lakefront this Saturday morning. In Wanaka, the South Today.
Work is set to start on the rail trail extension from Roxbur to Lawrence, so it continues to Waihola. The $10 million project is partially funded by the Provincial Growth Fund.
Right, this is one of the tunnels that was on the branch line Clarksville to Roxbur, closed in 1968, and this is the Round Hill Tunnel.
Clusa Gold Trail Charitable Trust Chairman Murray Patterson says this 140-year-old former railway tunnel in the Manuka Gorge near Waitahuna should dry out nicely once contractors do their work on extending a cycle and walking trail from Lawrence to Waihola.
It should be reasonably straightforward. It's generally sound. The tunnel, it's all brick lined, which is good, and they all look very sound. Most of the water's created from it's a dam build-up really, and what we're standing on here is sort of a bit of build-up sludge and that from the vegetation spill. So once the digger comes through and clears this out, it should dry it out. And of course it's the same at the other end. It rolls both ways, and there's been quite a lot of water let go from the other end.
Patterson says the community are supporting the trail, with about 50 landowners having allowed easements over their property at no cost to the trail. And with possibly as many as 15,000 riders a year, the trail should boost the local economy.
Well, we certainly hope that the hospitality and accommodation type sector will lift. We're in Lawrence and Milton, it's probably not a big thing at the moment. So this extension is going to create a bit of an industry there.
Costing about $10 million, more than half the funding comes from the Provincial Growth Fund and will employ many contractors over the next 2 years.
And it's good that there's going to be a lot of employment created now over the next year or so to get it built.
The trail is to link up to an existing cycleway between Lawrence and Roxbur, which then goes on to join a further trail network extending through central Otago. Work is set to start on Monday, with the extension expected to be open about late next year. Near Waitahuna, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, we meet a Central Otago photographer on a mission to capture the perfect photograph. So see you after the break.
Risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Welcome back. As we mentioned earlier on The South Today, the Prime Minister and Director General of Health began a press conference as we went to air. This is what we know so far. Jacinda Ardern says the plan is to get to level 1 as soon as possible. She says we have caught this outbreak early. The Prime Minister says the genetic structure of this outbreak is different to the first wave in March. She says the country will maintain the current lockdown levels as they are, with Auckland in level 3 and the rest of New Zealand at level 2 until 11:59 p.m. Wednesday 26th of August, with a review on August the 21st. For full coverage of tonight's press conference and the impact the resurgence of COVID-19 is having on the South, read tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. A Wanaka-based photographer has travelled extensively in search of capturing the perfect photograph. He grew up in the American state of Colorado, beginning his travels in Europe and Asia before settling in Aotearoa.
Capturing a perfect moment in time is the aim of photographer Corey Marshall.
The first camera that I pretty much got right before I left on like a year and a half traveling trip. And so I pretty much saved money. And then after I graduated university, I was going to take 6 months and travel through Europe. And then about a year and a half, almost 2 years later, I finally came home. And so I spent about 5 months in Europe, and then I moved to Southeast Asia and lived in Thailand for almost a year, teaching scuba diving, but taking photos as well.
To achieve that elusive shot, Marshall is willing to wait in the wind, snow and rain.
And instead of going out and hiking up a mountain, I was going out at different times of day, hiking up the mountain and taking sunset photos, and then hiking back down in the dark or camping out for a couple days waiting for the right sunset or just the right light.
He uses editing software to create the perfect photo, but his aim is not to deceive.
Your eyes are so much better than a camera. So like in order to make a photo how you want it to look or how you saw it at the time, it needs a decent amount of manipulation in it. And so I try and make the photos pretty much relatively what I saw.
He preserves his photos by printing them onto metal.
A lot of people haven't seen it before, and so they are just amazed at how clear it is and like how sharp the pictures are. But then at the same time, you tell them the process and how it goes from a solid to a gas and then back into a solid. And I still think it's magic. Like I don't understand how it stays so sharp when it's like changing states. But yeah, so I've had quite a lot of good feedback on people that have bought them and have them hanging in their house now.
In Wanaka for the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we have more details on the latest COVID-19 outbreak with the ODT, and we also have the weekend's weather for you, so catch this and more after the break.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر.
Do you know Youth Grow in Northeast Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in Northeast Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Evening, I'm from the Parks Department. Have you got a permit for that fire?
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Thanks for staying with us. Dunedin Premier Club Rugby will still go ahead tomorrow, but spectators are asked to stay home in light of the South Island-wide Alert Level 2 status. In this week's Rugby Chat, Paul Dwyer chats to Tane Craigoranga and Finn Strawbridge about a match he thinks might be too close to call.
Welcome to ODT Rugby Chat for another week, sponsored by Garrador. Look, we're social distancing today, so I've got these boys 2 metres apart. Look, the big game this week, it's Tyree Green Island. Do you need to think? You think you need to stay in the game longer? Because the game that I watched against Varsity, you guys were all over them in the first half. Defensively,
we're a bit of a 50-minute team at the moment.
Well, that's what I've seen. You just need to stay in the game.
Yeah. I think that's probably where we're falling apart as well. I mean, Southern, we were in that game to about for the whole game basically, but we had our opportunities near the end as well. We were right in it, right to the end.
Okay, so
yeah.
your point of view, so look, Tyree, this is a tough one for you. This is a banana skin game for you boys. They're not that it'll matter because you're in, but you don't want to lose this game, obviously.
Nah.
So where do you beat this Grand Island side? Do you try to get points up and then take the emotion out of the game?
Probably be a full 80, obviously, but we'll probably try to put as much heat on them as we can in the first half and hold them out for as long as possible.
Okay, so there it is, GI Tyree. Look, it's nearly too close to call. I know GI haven't won a game, but this is a big game for them. I expect this to go down to the wire. I probably expect Tyree just to win, but there won't be much in it. Southern have to beat Zingers and they have to get 5 points. If they don't, they're in danger of going, so I think that'll be motivation enough for them. AU Dunedin, if AU lose this game, I think they're gone from the 6. Dunedin, if they lose this game, they could be gone from the 6. So, yeah, look, it's tight. I'll pick Dunedin just on the form from last week. And Varsity versus Kike, look, I'm like the boys. I struggle to pick a winner in this game. I'm actually going to go for an actual draw. It'll be 18 all. And we'll be back with you again next week.
The full episode of this week's Rugby Chat will play tonight at 6 p.m. on Channel 39 and is available at any time on odt.co.nz. Full results and live updates of this weekend's games will also be available on the ODT from 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Dunedin Knights have been asked to call 0800 Virus 19 before getting tested as a drive-through COVID-19 testing clinic opened today. The Otago Chamber of Commerce is helping southern businesses who are still hurting from COVID-19 earlier in the year. And work continues on a multi-million-dollar cycleway taking it through the Manuka Gorge to Waihola. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Barry. What a day.
What a day, just another day in paradise. Yes, of course, the Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's press conference was on just as we came in here. We know that Auckland stays at 3 and the rest of New Zealand stays at 2, so situation the same. That's going to go for just in total just under a fortnight, and they'll review it then. Wage subsidy will continue, so that's some good news. So some more details of that are going to be released shortly, or as we're here as we speak.
Yeah.
That's being released, so we'll have all that information in the ODT tomorrow, so you can find out exactly where we sit. We also went to a few airports today to check out who was flying in and flying out, and we talked to a few of the passengers and got some reasons as to why they were moving from Auckland to destinations in the south.
And what was their main reason?
Just the wonderful attractions in the south. Look, I haven't got the full story on that, Melissa, but apparently they were all very good reasons. So find out more about that in your paper tomorrow, of course. And if we're here on Monday, you'll know I haven't won the $50 million lotto draw on Saturday, and that has got to go. So somebody is going to be, it's going to change somebody's lives, and hopefully many people's lives.
Look, I'll shout you a meal if I win.
Oh, that is so generous. Unbelievable. Thank you.
I'm not saying what the meal could be. It could be really flash.
Could be, or it could be just blue cotton chips would be okay. So we talked to a statistician about that and check out the odds. So he does say this is the time to buy a ticket. So there you go. If you haven't got yours, get it soon.
Yeah.
We conclude our cannabis series in the paper tomorrow, and it's a head-to-head debate between for and against between former Prime Minister Helen Clark and the New Zealand Medical Association. So interesting views there.
And people need to read that to be more informed, to make a decent decision.
Absolutely. We also have a piece on our business pages about if the vote does go yes, what does that mean for workplaces and how will they manage those sorts of issues. So
does it mean increased drug testing? There's all that to consider.
Well, that's right. Yeah. And people using machinery and all those things. So
that's what I was thinking.
So that'll come into it. So we debate that as well. But also we have a special 28-page special Resilient Edition replacing Mix at the weekend. That's our sustainability feature. Now we're looking at a sustainable economy after COVID ends. So some interesting stories in that.
Fantastic. Well, I'd say get out there and buy tomorrow's ODT because there is plenty of reading. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Time starting with the southern view, a blossom-filled South Dunedin street. Looking at the situation, it's a fine weekend ahead with heavy frost inland and cold daytime temperatures for all. To the southern towns, the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all expect clear skies with light winds and a high of 7. And in central Otago, it's clear skies and light winds for everyone here too. Wanaka and Alexandra head for 6, Queenstown 5 and it's 7 degrees for Tiana. To the northern towns, expect clear skies and light winds, with highs of 10 degrees for Timaru and 9 in Oamaru. Further inland to Marama and Twizel, it will be cloudy with light winds and a high of 8 degrees. And in Dunedin, you should expect clear skies tonight with cold southwesterlies dying out and an overnight low of -3 degrees. It will be fine and sunny tomorrow morning, but very cold again, with a high of just 9 degrees and light southerlies. Watch out for frost tomorrow night with an overnight low of -2. And Sunday is looking mostly fine and sunny with frosts again, temperatures peaking around 10 degrees during the day and a -2 overnight. And in Invercargill, it will be frosty tonight with an overnight low of -3. Tomorrow will be fine and sunny but with very cold temperatures and light winds with a high of 9. Again, look out for frost tomorrow night with an overnight low of -3. And it will be mostly sunny and fine with frost and light winds on Sunday I should say. Expect cold daytime temperatures of 10 degrees and overnight lows of around -3 degrees. And that's all for our news for this Friday. For the latest news from the Southern Region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.